Hey guys, it's DeathFromAbove. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're taking a look at the last video you selected last month, the Battleship Guide. And the Battleships Guide, yes, they deserve a guide. Yes, it's probably the most simple class to play in World of Warships Blitz, but there are a couple of key principles that you must be applying to your game if you want to do well with them, or at least survive a little bit longer. So, let's start by defining our game plans. For that, we're going to, one, look at the team composition, and two, we're going to look at the strengths and weaknesses of each ships available. I know it's not always easy to know the strengths and weaknesses of the ships that you are facing. That is why I usually give them in my videos in the forms on Excel comparison, so you can immediately see what those ships are good at and what they are weak. For the Roma, for example, we have an amazing accuracy. We are a very fast battleship, but we also have the worst AA at T-rate and weak fire resistances. And guess what? There is the best fire starter of every... there is actually the best CV in the game for starting fires. That is the Enterprise. That thing can set and keep anything it wants on fire. And unfortunately for us, since we have the worst AA, we must watch out for it. We cannot go anywhere alone without protection, because if it decides to focus us, we're dead in 1 minute. There are also no cruisers on my team, so I do not have any protection from destroyers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay in formation. I'm going to actually try to stick as close as I can to my Disco Boy fleetmate Meth, who is playing in the North Carolina, and that will hopefully protect me from the enemy Enterprise and hopefully help us fight destroyers together. So let's find out. So we're positioned close to C, my fleetmate is positioned close to A, so I'm going to gravitate towards the center to get as close as I can to him, or at least to enjoy the protection of my CV. I'm not going to push C on my own. That's absolutely not what I want to be doing. What I want to be doing is gravitate towards the center. That is what you should be doing with slow battleships. The Roma is not per definition a slow battleship, but it's also a battleship that is excellent at range, and being in a central position will allow us to pick our targets quite easily. And you notice that while I'm doing that, I'm also pre-aiming my guns in the general direction of the enemy. So the battleships have a very slow turret rotation. It takes you around 30 seconds to get your turret's guns from left to right. So you want to anticipate as much as you can to make sure that you are able to fire at the first targets that present themselves as soon as the game starts. That will be a key component of this guide that you will see throughout the gameplay. And speaking of the first target, there is the French battleship Gascoigne coming straight at us. So what we're going to do is we're going to prepare to be engaging him. And what you want to be doing when engaging another battleship is you want to be aiming for the center. Do not try to do what I'm doing here, because it's not very clever and I don't do it properly. But you want to be aiming for the center because, one, that is where the citadel is. So yes, the armor is strongest, but the citadel is also what you are trying to get here. And secondly, if you try aiming for the weaker parts of the armor, your shells will overpen should they ever reach the target, because battleships do not have cruiser accuracy. So if you try to play it smart and aim for weak parts of the ship, you probably will not be hitting your targets at all. There you go, a couple of shells, and the Gascoigne is doing the right thing. He's disengaging because he has two battleships looking at him, and the Bismarck is not doing the right thing. He's following him with no hope of being able to catch him up. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to switch my attention to the Monarch. I am not going to follow my Bismarck, and I'm immediately going to angle my ship and start moving back and forth. The reason why you want to do this is you want to present the smallest target possible to the enemy. So you will not be bouncing shells. This is not World of Warships PC, this is Blitz, but you will be presenting a smaller target, and by moving back and forth, some of the shells will miss you. That's a good example here. What causes the Monarch to disengage is probably going to be focusing my Bismarck, who's again being way too aggressive. And while he's doing that, I will be turning my ship to be engaging that Amagi as fast as I can. So I'm not only turning my turrets, I'm turning my ship as well to get the turrets on target faster, and I'm immediately telling my fleetmates that I am engaging, supporting them. Amagi was probably not expecting us to be able to engage him with two battleships immediately. It's going to go down quite fast, and there you go, congratulations Meth, disco time, and now we can focus on the rest of the team. And the situation is not excellent. We are 2 bases down and we are 1 ship up. That's good, but we still have a Benson preventing us from capping B. And that, I think, is one of the key lessons to learn when you're playing a battleship, is to know when and how you can be aggressive. For example, if we just look at the minimap, our Bismarck went way too far ahead of the rest of the team, and he's being focused by several ships. The CV is completely, well, he's set on fire, that's not a big surprise, and is also being focused by the 2 other battleships, so it's going to go down quite quickly. But we decide to push. We decide to push because the destroyers are gone. It's pretty safe for us now, and we can basically close the game. So you need to understand how you can be aggressive, and here you see me doing something I said I would never do. You see me turning right and pointing my guns to the left, and then I noticed that it's not going anywhere, so that's something that you should be avoiding as much as you can. And I think that the final lesson for this guide is going to be about picking your fights. For example, here, that York is absolutely not a threat to me, is near a base that is already being capped, is disengaging, so I'm just going to ignore him. I'm going to be using my hit points. He's not even shooting at me, by the way. But I have a lot of hit points. I still have, yeah, I'm almost full health, so that's very good, and I can be very, very aggressive now. So I'm going to just ignore the York and focus on the targets that are right in front of me, trying to hit that Gascoigne. Yes, there we go, right where you needed to hit him to get a citadel, and I'm going to take the lead now because I am much faster than the other North Carolina. So I'm going to be using my hit points, and I'm going to be tanking for him. Here we are, the York can keep hitting us, that's alright, we still got a lot of hit points. The CV is going to finally focus us because we have actually left formation, so we do not get set on fire, that's good. Allez, one for all time's sake to the York, and now we can focus on the targets in front of us. You notice that I've taken the opportunity to put my guns to the left of the ship, and I'm going to be again turning the ship to be engaging and getting my guns on target quicker. We're going to be finishing that Monarch. Secondaries, main guns, and it's almost gone, so that should be no problem. Even if the CV decides to keep focusing me, that's alright. Only 1 minute left, 1 minute 40 seconds left into the game, so we are not in danger anymore. The Gascoigne gets taken down, I get focused by the CV, get set on fire, but I still have my control kit, my damage control kit, so that's alright, and we can basically run to get the enemy CV. That will conclude the guide. Final communication to the team to ask them to spot the CV. And finally, it's time to make a quick debrief. So, many people think that battleships are easy or the stupidest class to play, and to some extent it's certainly the easiest class in the game to play, simply because you can tank so much, so it's quite forgiving. It's a quite forgiving class, to be honest, and certainly one you should be starting to play with. But in the meantime, we've saw the battleships in our team and on the opposite team do exactly what you should not be doing. For example, you should always be angled, and we have a Gascoigne that is coming straight at us in full broadside, completely alone, not in formation. Then we have a Bismarck chasing him, not knowing the characteristics of his ship, and that he has absolutely zero chance of catching a Gascoigne, and just leaving formation, exposing himself to the enemy CV, who finishes him with fire. And finally, we are able to stay in formation until the very end, when it's safe for us to be trading our hit points with the CV and the other ships, and to basically close the game. And we've played a very good team game, I think. So it was a really nice guide, it was a really nice video to explain a couple of concepts. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed making it. And it's about time to be closing the Battleships guide with a reminder that this was the last video you selected last month, and that the poll for the videos for next month are still open until the end of the month, and I will create a new one after that for December, so you can still vote. For that, you just join the Discord server, go to the Facebook page of the channel. Here are the results screen. Our fleetmate shot down 23 planes, so looks like our air defense plan worked quite well. And I will be seeing you soon and leaving you on that good note. Stay safe, take care, bye bye. That was DeathFromAbove signing out.